great day in Wisconsin. Today I'm honored to be presenting the Hometown Hero Award to Carol Ann Kay. Carol founded the Adaptive Community Approach Program, ACAP, in 1982 to help integrate those with disabilities into the community. And she would lead this program for 37 years, retiring in August of 2019. Over that time period, ACAP helped those with disabilities feel welcome in the greater Waukesha area, advocated for their needs, and encouraged those with disabilities to give back to the community through volunteering. The story of ACAP begins at a time when the state was moving towards deinstitutionalizing those with disabilities, intending to see them reintegrate into society. Carol saw a need, took action, and gathered others to help. Carol's passion for those with disabilities goes back to well before the 1980s, though. She grew up in Chicago with a father who eventually had a brain aneurysm and had difficulty getting into the polls or into church buildings because of the stairs. She was also influenced by the book called That All May Worship. For Carol, the mission of ACAP reflected her own passion of welcoming and including everyone. There were many church groups that provided camps for those with disabilities, and Easter Seals offered a day service program. Instead, ACAP focused on integrating those with disabilities into the community. That focus on integration is why Carol valued the fact that ACAP regularly met in the First United Methodist Church. She didn't want ACAP to have a separate building that people could label as being for disabled people. Instead, ACAP has remained a part of the community. Her involvement with ACAP actually made Carol more brave. She became the voice of those who can't speak. One mother said to her, "My son cannot speak, but he has so much to say." Carol's passion to welcome and include those with disabilities continues on today in the work of ACAP, the organization that she helped create. She may be retired, but her legacy of faithful service to the greater Waukesha community lives on. I'm excited to present Carol with the Hometown Hero Award.
Thank you very much. Mr. Allen did say a few things that I am going to repeat, but hopefully you will bear with me. This is dedicated to the inspirational spirit, my father. He grew up on a farm in Michigan, moved his mother and siblings to Chicago, and with $3,000 opened up a grocery store which sustained the family through the Depression. My father moved on to become an ice cream truck driver for Borden's Ice Cream. Always had those Elsie the Cow puppets from Borden's, my favorite. And he was going on to real estate school at the same time. Hard work and long hours were never strangers to my father. 2 offices and 40 salespeople later, on a quiet afternoon, this highly successful community-focused businessman experienced a headache that would change all of our lives forever. The diagnosed brainstem aneurysm required surgery which resulted in a massive stroke. 9 months later, when being discharged from rehabilitation, My father was no longer described as Ed K., active community member dedicated to family. He was stripped of that personal dignity, of his achievements and his pride. My father was now referred to as a piece of equipment, a wheelchair. He was described as a disability, a left hemi, and not as the man filled with love and talent. We as family were told to adjust and to prepare for barriers and prejudices around every corner. There would be no transitioning, no supports to assist or educate our family members about life with a disability. My father lost his real estate offices, hence the family income suffered. Medical bills were mounting while we were still trying to understand how to transfer my father from his wheelchair onto a commode. What crime did he commit to have to endure such severe penalties? My father could no longer enter the church he was a member of for over 20 years. His faith could not overcome the architectural barriers of the stairs and the inaccessible bathrooms. A baritone who loved to solo "How Great Thou Art." My father could no longer access the choir loft. Once a world traveler, my father's journeys now took him to and from medical appointments. Once an active member of the Republican Party in Chicago, my father could no longer enter the polling place freely. Without a disability, the world was his for the asking. With a disability, my father faced a challenge every time he attempted to live freely. Was there a valuable lesson to be learned from all this adversity and frustration? My father thought yes, and helped me to redefine our lives with adaptations. My father said, first and foremost, I am still the man I was, who now needs to understand and adapt to tremendous loss. I need to rediscover humor and laughter. I need to encourage my community to create changes that will pave ways for me to once again be a participant. My faith, when re-examined, remains strong. Those stairs are what weaken my ability to practice my faith, so we need to modify or dismantle the architectural barriers. I now ride a 3-wheel bike instead of driving a Lincoln, but I can continue to work in real estate. My role with my family has changed, but I remain Ed K., father and husband, with so much love to share. I am not devoid of dignity. I continue to seek respect from family and friends. Whether 40 years ago or today, ACAP continues to promote human dignity. Its philosophy encourages all of us to look beyond disability, to cleanse our language of labels, which serve only to separate and confuse, to dismantle the attitudinal barriers that we have, and the architectural barriers will follow. For every wonderful medical and technological advancement, may I suggest that we always remember to maintain that delicate balance with human exchange. Thank you so very much.